You probably have heard me say before, we need to bias our diet to nutrient density and low toxin because we build our replacement parts. And you've probably also, if you've followed me for any amount of time, know that I bias very strongly in favor of animal products because you're getting good quality protein and you're getting good quality fats. And both of those are really important in your body. But inositol is one of the only carbohydrates that actually plays a structural role in cell membranes. So it's not essential from the standpoint of, an essential carbohydrate where your body couldn't reproduce something that it needs and it could only get it through a carbohydrate. Inositol does occur in animal products as well. But, it's interesting that it's an actual sugar, that it plays a structural role in our bodies. This is the one that really gets me, that it influences the action of insulin, because sugar's the bad guy when you talk about diabetes, but not with this one. And I really think that for a lot of us, part of what oxalate's doing is disrupting our nervous system, and particularly things like serotonin and dopamine. And why does oxalate impact us with serotonin and dopamine? The challenge there is that as oxalate drives low-grade inflammation in the body, the immune system says, we got a problem, we got a problem, we got a problem, because inflammation is the immune system's business. It's its raison d'etre, as they would say in French, because when inflammation's involved, it either means an injury or an infection, and that the immune system is all about these things. So how does that mean that it affects our serotonin and dopamine? Well, the body's a system. They're not isolated aspects of our functionality, the nervous system and the immune system. And so the immune system talks to the nervous system. I got a problem. Nervous system responds. I'll do what I can. And what the nervous system does, so because we should be resting, right? If you've got an infection, you've got an injury, you need to rest. So the nervous system will actually pull down serotonin, pull down dopamine. That's fine on a short-term basis, but you've got something like oxalate, which is driving inflammation, then those chemical messengers in your nervous system can be affected. So if we can give them some boost with something like inositol, then we may be helping to correct some of this imbalance that may have been set up because oxalate's this inflammatory thing, and then the immune system starts talking and the nervous system is trying to make sure that the whole body as a whole is doing well. But with this approach of taking down serotonin and dopamine. So I personally can vouch that I do think I'm getting some mood lift here. It's not the only thing I'm doing. I've, over the last 5 years, started to implement a lot of different kinds of things to help with serotonin and dopamine, not the least of which is working out with a trainer, which seems to be working too. But I do think there's been some subtle help there, some shift. Why would you take it as a supplement? Well, if the typical diet is only getting a gram of it a day, but perhaps you need more, perhaps you need a therapeutic dose of it, then, it's worthwhile to consider as a supplement. And, I get concerned about some of the rich sources. I have not looked at the individual foods in which inositol is the highest, but, grains, beans, nuts, fresh fruits, vegetables, those are all the places where oxalate lies too. So it may be that we're going to do better with an isolated inositol where we don't have to worry about what else is in there with it. And note how high they have gone with this stuff and found it to be safe. Researchers have studied the benefits of doses up to 18 grams a day. We're not talking about something where there's warnings about toxicity. It seems to be very safe. It seems to be pretty gentle.